into a full-on studio, offer the opportunity she did to Lisa.
Yes.
Okay, that is a gatekeeper at that level.
Yeah. But
then there's also distribution.
And like you said, who's creating this cultural narrative? And this is a big response to this, right? Mm-hmm. Is that Oprah would appear to be at a level where she would have more control of cultural narrative. What has she decided to do with it, right? What does she decide to do with her network? You can look at the evolution of all that.
Okay, let me say this. Because, again, the problem with Oprah is that even though she had, 20 years at the television, one of the reasons in my book that Oprah is a billionaire is because she created content that could be sold.
Yeah.
The issue that I know for a fact as a blogger of 30 years, 20 years at DryerBuzz.com is it is very difficult to sell content where you give black men a voice.
See,
that has been the problem with Oprah. Whether she wanted to or not, she could have done as many shows as she wanted to. Now, where Oprah's issue goes back to, somebody reminded me, was back to when it's far and wide. Mm-hmm. But the interview that she did back on her show for the Crash, with the cast of Crash, and she had the conflict with Ludacris. They said she literally attacked him. She baked him in he's hip hop. Hip hop is negative and this, that, and the other. Because at that time, we were dealing with gangster and uncut and all this kind of stuff, which he wasn't. Everybody has an uncut and so forth and so on. But the problem was, Oprah couldn't sell it. Nobody could sell it. Mm-hmm. Hell, I could not sell it. One of the things I talked about on yesterday, we said, well, what's in an interview is black men. You cannot sell the content which is why you only have 2 and 3 black movies a year and this, that, and the other. Now, are we buying? Are we producing? Are we not even buying and producing? Because we are. We're buying. We're the consumers. We have no problem being a consumer. We don't have no problem producing. We don't have any problem financing. But what we had the problem was in distribution. Yeah. Oprah became a billionaire because she had content that people were buying and could sell. Not even what people were buying, but that those large gatekeepers than her could take the content and sell it around the world. Yes. So she is looked upon because of the content that sold that was not giving voice to black men. She is looked upon as an outsider. Yeah. So we talk about a gatekeeper. It's a gatekeeper that they feel like they cannot approach. Can she do anything about that? I don't know that she can because she has a network right now. Yep. And I don't hear. I mean, we know we got real-time data as to what black men watch and so forth, and I still don't see them as many black shows as on. We don't see them.
And that's
watching those.
That's
things,
a very good
or
point.
feeling like they're in it.
And that's just a very good point about the bigger issues here. And Oprah
so many bigger issues.
There are. God, this thing is got so much to it. It gives me a headache. And that Oprah figured out how to make money. Yay! And she answers to stakeholders and shareholders, and so she too has to answer to somebody, right? This is why she's out promoting Weight Watchers, right? And she's going around the country.
And it seems like she's kind of tired of it, but that's okay. Oprah.
And that's and that's the part. And she has to answer. She's a part owner of Weight Watchers. She has to answer to Weight Watchers stockholders. So that means she's got to go around and
talk about that as opposed to this.
And so
we saw a clear example of that when she went on the Today Show. She wanted to talk about what was happening with Gayle, what was happening with this, and they were like, no, you got to talk about this tour.
And so this is the thing that I kept coming back to in this, where I felt like I could speak, as my lane, is to say, looking at, so we've got Gayle King talking to Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant, right? I said, is it about Gayle? It's about the question, right?
Right.
Is it about Gayle?
The follow-up question. Let's not say the question.
It's a follow-up
question.
Is it about Gayle, right? Or is it about Gayle and Oprah? Is it even about Oprah? Is it even about Gayle and Kobe? I'm like, no. I said, this is playing out here. But it's about, or maybe I should do this.
Because it was an underlying. Now, you're going to do this to Kobe too. The Kobe was an add-on.
Right.
It's Kobe too.
And it's it. You're
like
doing
Me
this
Too, Kobe too. Like, wow, y'all. That's it right there.
And I think
it's like y'all are gonna do this to Kobe too.
Yes,
that's what this was.
Yeah, and the man is barely in the ground.
Man is not in the ground.
Right, he's not. That's right. He's not in the ground. They just released the bodies.
Right.
So and God, what was it? 2 weeks from today? I mean, it's just barely happened.
Grammy Sunday. Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. So, but I think so. I'm like, this is where
Kobe
I'm looking at this saying how we can see something play out here.
Right.
That is really here.
And that's why it was so hurtful, because and this is the part that hurts me, is that when Kobe died, and this is why I say black men don't have the opportunity, we don't get a chance to see their whole 360, because how many people were sitting back, and you guys tell us, and I'm going to try and get back on.
And I'm going to have to wrap and
I know.
This. Yeah.
But the part that really hurts, and I think that hurts black men and black women, even though y'all created that gulf again, but let me tell you what I understand that's going on, is that when Kobe died, it wasn't until then that we got to see that the man had truly that he truly had grown a legacy, that he truly had manifested into such a wonderful young man. I mean, he was already a wonderful young man. People want to say cocky, but he was courageous. He was literally brilliantly on a trajectory to where he is. And when Shaq said we won't get to celebrate his going into the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame speech and all of that, it's because that we don't get to see them in their full existence. And one of the things I said, we only get to see that in death. It's like, wow, these networks, all these networks. Like I thought Kobe. I hadn't thought about Kobe in forever, and absolutely forever. It's like so under the radar. Even though he had built up his tribe, even though he had did the whole Olympic thing, it's like nobody will put that on television. And now to see the love and the outpouring, we were denied that, and we have to continue to say that. This is why I watched the Snoop video, because I'm like, whoa, this brother's been denied. Then I was like, whoa, where he going? Where he going? Where he going? But Kobe was denied. Kobe was absolutely denied. Here's a person, we were talking about, we used the word, what's the narrative? What's the buzzword that they're using? I mean, he fully turned his life around, extolling the virtues. I saw that in a number of articles, the wonderful father that he was. And if you look at his family, he and his wife, they have 2 older children. They had a recommitment, and then they started their family again to go on and have the 4. People were also talking about the girl dad. I mean, we had a Kobe. It's like, where did that go? Where we had the amazing story about Kobe recognizing himself as a girl dad, and then you had everybody posting their, my father being a girl dad, only I'm a girl.
And that's such an interesting thing, that this one interview with this literally like 2 minutes, even less, has managed to squelch all that. Right?
All of that.
Has managed to take over.
Which is why we understand they should be upset.
And this is the upset.
That's the upset.
And I think that I liked the use of the term complicated legacy that Gayle asked.
But
because everyone has a complicated legacy.
Right.
And there is and all of these things will be discussed, right? But it's so interesting how this one thing, which is not the thing, right? It's really not, right? It's so much more has blown up. Will it pass in a few days? Maybe, right? And we'll go, Kobe's funeral will come, Kobe and Gigi's funeral will be, tragedy. And there were
and that's the hard part.
There were
that's
7 other people who died.
Should not sit well with anybody. Is that the memorial has yet to happen, and this is a footnote in that. And at the end of the day, as we get ready to wrap up here, and Jason Hodge, it showed that there is nobody safe, no legacy that can be reserved. Nothing is sacred with them. Please tell me with them. And when they're called upon to do the bidding of the machine, and yet they still descended upon his legacy to destroy it like virtue. Somebody else, we saw this conversation. I don't want to bring Bill Cosby into this, but when they got to talk about it, I still want to watch the Bill Cosby show. I don't like Bill Cosby as a person, but if you go back, thank God Twitter is forever. I have rebuked Bill Cosby ever since he first went on tour, boycotted any and all stops that he made in Atlanta, because I too felt like he was speaking. It's like, whoa, he's talking about, it's something undertow there. But I want to make sure that we end this.